My name is Martin B. Rays. I'm 83 years old. I am classified as the last of the Mohicans. So the thing is, I think I'm the oldest in Yesler Terrace. Everybody I already know are all gone, or they moved, or they've been shipped out.
Yesler Terrace started in the early 1940s. It began as part of a federal project for slum clearance. At that time, on the hill, there were a number of houses that were very run down. So, since this was still part of the end of the Depression era, the federal government was very concerned about people living in slums and about dilapidated housing. They provided money to cities to be able to clear those slums. Part of what they were required to do was to settle the people who had lived there, if they were eligible as families, into this new project. Yesler Terrace was always racially integrated. However, there was an informal policy that they would not have initially more than 25% African American families. As time went on and laws changed, the demographic mix changed so that there were more families of color. Now, it was never just black and white, because there were people here at that time who primarily were here to go to school, to get their graduate degrees or something, or to do their medical internship, but they still were neighbors and they interacted with each other. And there was a lot of disbursement among the people, so that even if they came from different places, they could interact. I would hope that that would still be the case in the new Yesler Terrace.
I was raised in Yesler. I was a juvenile court worker at Yesler. I was a probation officer at Yesler. I worked at St. Francis House for 37 years, and now I'm a security guard for the old community room. Old Yesler Terrace, people were concerned about kids and sports. We were very lucky that in sports we had all kinds of coaches, boxing, weightlifting, wrestling, volleyball, and I learned everything at Yesler Terrace. The new generation is going to be hard to handle because there is no supervision and nobody to teach the kids how to respect their parents. What values we have here at the old Yesler is survival, communication. The new Yesler, I can't tell you because I haven't seen what progress has made to make Yesler better. I don't even know if it's going to be called Yesler no more.
A better Yesler Terrace is indeed what many residents wish for after the redevelopment. But as times change and the demographic of Yesler evolves, many elderly residents feel that they'll be losing something more than just an old building. Ya Pham came from Vietnam to America around 1957 and has been living in Yesler for 23 years.
I love to live in a place where there is lawn. I can take care of the lawn and grow some flower plant in Vietnam. 1950, my wife, 18 years old girl, a safe girl, the second daughter here. The third daughter here.
As he shows photos of his 6 daughters and 12 grandchildren, it becomes apparent that Ya's reluctance to move to the new development may not be due to the lack of gardening space.
And myself here.
Where is your wife?
Yeah.
Ya, as well as many other current and former residents, have planted their seeds of life in Yesler Terrace and watched them grow. To watch their plants be uprooted and destroyed is far too much to expect from longtime residents. Winnie Allen was a resident of Yesler Terrace from 1949 to 1960. Her experiences as a resident in the early days of Yesler provide a glimpse into what life was like in the mid-20th century.
Well, as a young kid, it was great because there were lots of children to play with, and it was very diverse, and there was a lot of things to do. But we, like I said, in Yesler Terrace, we had a very good childhood, very good, and many of the people that grew up in the Yesler Terrace, they're professors. There's others that are school teachers, others that are doctors, it goes on and on. So good things come out of the Yesler Terrace. The difference that I see, first of all, they're tearing down our old Yesler Terrace, so that kind of makes my heart pat, and I came and took pictures of the old buildings that we knew before they tore them down. I'm sure it's a good thing. At my age, you start looking at the changes and you think, wow, that's what my parents were looking at when they were my age. The changes it's like a part of your life is being taken away. But then on the other hand, you see where the new young folk like yourself are able to step up and keep it going and keep the foundation. So it's a bittersweet type of thing. I see the African families, and I see that they seem to have the same standards as far as family, the pride in family, the sticking together of family. It was more of that when we were growing up. You had more of a community base, and that's what I see with the African family. Basically, I think it's a good thing, moving forward. Our days at the Yesler Terrace were really happy days, and even though we were poor, we didn't know we were poor. We didn't know that. We were just kids. We were having fun.
Along with Winnie Allen, Dr. Jean Harris spent most of her childhood in Yesler Terrace and is currently writing a novel outlining Yesler's long and storied history as well as her own personal experience.
It was a beautiful place. What I would like it to be is everybody has a voice, so that people can take the time to figure out what each group's strengths are, and there's not any one group that's the boss of everything and they decide how things are going to go, but you negotiate together so that everybody's needs can be met, and you can really interact on a for real level. Not just these, periodically you get together and it's diversity day, then you go back to your own self. But that everybody could, like it was when I lived here, you got to know people. And they were your neighbors, they were your friends, they were who had your back when you went out. If it could be like that now, you could exchange information with each other, but you didn't have to be a certain way, you could be yourself. It's going to be really different.
With changing geography comes changing demographics, and the advent of change is bound to steer history in an unknown direction. Marty, Ya, Winnie, and Jean all contribute a single thread in the fabric of Yesler Terrace's history. As rich and vibrant as the terrace's history is, the fabric must expand, and the redevelopment of Yesler Terrace must become a reality.
It's really sad knowing that there's a price tag that has been attached to our community.
Made family here. I've grown up. And now that the redevelopment is happening, it kind of has taken that away.
Yesler Terrace is a vigorous and loving community that is home to many different people, cultures, and languages.
I'm community organizer. It affects too much. Because everybody, West Seattle, New Holly, Rainy Vista, they say Yesler is old. They want to rebuild a new one. It's good to have new house, but the way they building, it's not a good way because we don't have backyard. We don't have stay in the backyard and cook and drink coffee. We don't have space. We don't have now. Oh, all the Yesler is better when it come to that. They work 24 hours. You cannot sleep day. You cannot sleep night because they work 24 hours. Go, 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 go.
Residents of Old Yesler Terrace have differing views on the new Yesler Terrace. Some residents, such as Mama Fatuma, think the redevelopment is a terrible idea. They think the community will be broken up and loved ones that moved away won't come back. They also fear that the new houses won't be an improvement from the old. However, other residents are more positive about the redevelopment.
The place we used to live in, of course we love it, but it is not, we can't compare this one. That is old building, old house. So we feel very lucky and very happy getting this house and been living in this environment. The parking is an issue, big issue, and there is no parking. They give you just one for one vehicle. And on the streets, when you come from work or you come from school, you can't find any parking spot. They need to build a new gate because it is not safe. You know, the little kids, they try to cross it and they might get an accident. I miss my neighbors, but not the building itself, but I miss the neighbors. I like seeing a lot of kids playing around. Maybe I miss that part. I don't like the fence. I don't want it to separate, rich people and poor people. It sounds like degrading other people in terms of financial status.
My family and I really like the new house. In the old house, we had to carry my little brother Omar upstairs and back down every day. We had to give him a shower in the kitchen sink, but now he has his own shower, so we can give him a shower every day. The house is big and it gives him more freedom to go wherever he likes. We like the new house mostly because of my little brother.
Yesler not only serves as a community to the people living here, but it also becomes a second home to the people surrounding it. SHA says they want to create one big community, but how is it a community if there's a literal barrier dividing people based on their financial status? In a city like Seattle, growth and construction are inevitable. As corporations and city officials strive to create densely populated, mixed-income neighborhoods where everyone will belong, we are still struggling to understand our place in this future.
I'm Andrew Lofton. I'm the Executive Director of the Seattle Housing Authority. So we think of Yesler as redeveloping a neighborhood, transforming it to a neighborhood that is healthy and welcoming for everyone.
According to the VP of Vulcan, the company in charge of Yesler's redevelopment, they are hoping that Yesler Terrace's future will look similar to the current South Lake Union. As things stand now, Yesler Terrace and South Lake Union are two very different neighborhoods. On the one hand, you have a sprawling neighborhood with high-rise apartments, big corporations like Amazon, expensive shops and restaurants, and high rental rates. On the other hand, aside from the noisy construction, Yesler Terrace is pretty laid back. On the average day, you might see kids playing in their yards, small business owners preparing for the lunch rush, and the occasional community barbecue. The biggest gap between Yesler Terrace and South Lake Union is income. While Yesler Terrace residents make less than 35% of the median income, the average household income at South Lake Union is $85,000. At South Lake Union, seemingly successful people run around during the lunch hour wearing Amazon ID badges. They seem to belong in that neighborhood. There is diversity among these young professionals, but we didn't see too many folks who looked like the people living at Yesler Terrace. 73% of the households in South Lake Union are non-family. In fact, the median age in South Lake Union is only 35 years old. There's a homey feeling walking around Yesler Terrace, but it's also a bit lonely and haunted. With so many houses now standing by, empty, ready to be demolished, it's hard not to think of the families of Yesler Terrace and wonder what life will be like for them in the future. If Yesler Terrace becomes more like South Lake Union, how will it impact the low-income residents who currently live in Yesler Terrace?
South Lake Union is, for business, but as resident, you need to have good environment. How to look our environment, to get fresh air, how to sleep. And Lake Union people they are business people. After they finish their business, they go home. But as resident, you cannot be like Union.
This begs the question, would we even belong in Yesler Terrace after the redevelopment? Could we imagine ourselves living in South Lake Union? We spent several days exploring South Lake Union in an effort to find out.
I can see myself living around here. It is too much, I guess.
Since Yesler will become a mixed income place, it'll be very different and it'll be kind of hard to fit in there probably for me.
Because it's so easy in life for things to just fall apart like that. And it's not like all the corporations really pay attention to that, because they have all the money, so when something goes wrong, they can either just sell it or just forget about it, or there's so many other options for them because they have the money. But when you're struggling, when you have no money, you can't just let go of some things. It's always sticking around, like debt. This makes me question whether or not the lower income families actually have the same opportunities to grow. This question can be answered quite easily. The answer is yes, but you can't ignore the other barriers to upward mobility.
Sometimes there's other barriers, just comfort. You're feeling comfortable about where those opportunities lie.
What kind of opportunities will be available for these people?
Create the kinds of opportunities that people feel comfortable with, that people feel excited about, and set aside the distinctions that are artificially holding us back or getting in the way of our progress.
Even though you're in the lowest income group, it doesn't mean you have no chance. It just means that it is a lot harder and takes a lot more work. Opportunities exist, but it is not easy to always take advantage of them.
What are the things that are most helpful for our residents to become self-sufficient, to have that upward mobility?
The Equality for Opportunity Project states that no matter where you are in America, you can make it to the top 3-5 percentiles of income. The stipulations of this idea are kind of contradictory, because if you're already in the highest percentile, you're more likely to stay there than someone who has started in the lower percentile. This means that the more money your parents have, the more likely you are to stay and to be a part of the higher percentile. How will SHA be able to develop programs and plans in order to help bridge the income gap and achieve upward mobility?
That's not easy to do. Upward mobility is a huge issue. People have been trying to work on that for many, many years, and we don't have all the answers to that.
Just a few people out of this whole more than several acre plot of land, just a few people basically are living low income. And then everybody else is making insanely large amounts of money. And what kind of community is that? Like, do the people who make that much money even want to talk to the low income people?
Yeah.
Are we gonna
So how would you bridge that gap?
Honestly, I don't know. How will upward mobility be integrated into the lives of the current and the future residents of Yesler Terrace?
You know, if they don't have a group of people at every price point, in every income level, that is staying for a while, so that they provide that stability, so that you know, okay, this is a safe place, this is a stable place to go, anything go down. How are you going to have community?